Who's interested in attending the Desperate for Jesus conference with me? Friday, July 26th, 2024, 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Saturday, July 27th, 2024, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Put your love, 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 put your love, love, put your love, glasses on, put your love, 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 put your love, love, put your love, glasses on. I see you looking like you wanna dance.
Thank you for tuning in. A live stream new episode of the Stephanie M. Seaton Sunday Show will be starting soon. With your host, minister, and author Stephanie M. Seaton.
Hello, and welcome to a special edition of the Stephanie M. Seaton Sunday Show. Tonight, we have an open panel discussion. Tonight is going to be part 2 of the soft girl era, soft black girl era. We've talked about the fact that those are two totally different conversations. We're going to be focusing more tonight on the soft black girl era. And I have tonight some amazing guests with me. I'm going to let each one introduce themselves, tell a little bit about their platforms, what they've got going on. And you might as well go ahead and just kind of give us a thought about the title, Soft Girl or Soft Black Girl Era. So that way we can kind of just set the tone for your thoughts about it if you've ever experienced it. Some of us, as we talked about last time, have never had soft love. Some of us were talking about the fact that, we didn't even know if we could recognize signs of it. So we have a couple of ladies that were here from the last conversation. We have a couple of ladies that are joining for the first time tonight. All these ladies are ladies that I consider to be sister friends. And so thank you all for coming on the platform tonight. It's an amazing opportunity to be able to sit down with women that you really care about and just get some feedback. Be able to bounce thoughts off of each other. And then the women are open and vulnerable. We're here to share, to minister through our stories and things that we've been through. We're not here just to tell you all of our business. The point of this is to let you know that whatever situation you're going through, you're not the only person that's been through it. And I think the biggest thing that we talked about last time was the fact that it's so many of us in one spot with one purpose, and that's ministry and helping. And so the fact that we have 5 beautiful women on this one platform, we're all in one accord, no confusion. I mean, that in itself is amazing. And so again, I am so thankful and grateful for everyone to be here tonight. I'm going to let them take the time to introduce themselves. Let's start with Elena, if you want to get started, and then we will do Candy, Lakeisha, and Miss Tracy. If you guys will give your introduction and then also what you think about the conversation Soft Girl Era.
Okay. Hello, I am Elena Maria. Thank you so much for inviting me to your platform, Stephanie. What an amazing opportunity yet again. And to
Yes.
be on the platform with such other beautiful Black ladies, I always love these opportunities. So again, my name is Elena Maria. I'm an author, entrepreneur, a screenwriter, singer, songwriter, and motivational speaker. Um, I write across multiple genres. I've released an urban fiction book. I have a 10-part healing from journal coming out May 1st. Also coming out, I'm part of an anthology that'll be out early June. A part of a poetry anthology as well. Coming next year, I got some science fiction coming out. So I'm kind of all over the place. But again, I am always happy to meet with, collaborate with other artistic individuals, specifically Black women. It makes my heart smile to be able to connect with like-minded women. When talking about the topic of the soft girl era, I can always refer back to my mom, being a single mom, raising 3 kids on her own and watching her struggle. And a lot of moments where she wasn't so soft, not that she was a mean mom, but she was a stern mom because she wanted to make sure we didn't have to relive her trauma. So when we talk about, and I'm sure we'll talk about that a little more in the conversation. I don't want to take too much time in my introduction, but when I think about soft girl, I always refer back to my mom of all the times that she wasn't even allowed to be soft when she needed to be. And that's my introduction.
Yes, I love that. I love that. Miss Candy.
Hi, my name is Candy. I am a mom of 3 sons. I am an author of a total of 9 books. I started yesterday, book number 10. It will be a paranormal Black romance called Mayabi's Prince, set in a grassland of Africa, and they will be jaguar shifters. Because we don't have enough of those. We do not have enough Black paranormal romances. So I want to bring that thought process out. That's my favorite kind of book. I am a veteran. I, as you know, am an author. And I am a current psychology student. I will be graduating September 1st. And it's kind of awesome that we're having this discussion again today. Last time in my psych class, it went towards the subject. Again, this week, it goes towards the subject as far as bias and stereotype. How it affects emotional intelligence. And stereotype and bias for Black women has a very detrimental effect on us being able to be soft girls.
Yes.
Because Black men think of us a certain type of way.
Right.
Because of how they look at their own mothers and other women in their lives.
Yeah.
So we automatic in society have a stereotype. You see my hair, you see my earrings, you see my makeup, and literally people look at me sideways thinking I'm ghetto or I'm bougie or something else until I open my mouth.
Wow.
When I open my mouth, then I become white girl. Or you're trying to, play sides. Yeah. And it's just like, no, I'm just me.
Yeah.
But that makes it hard to be soft when everything you do as a Black woman is under a microscope.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Miss Lakeisha.
Hello, everyone. So my name is Lakeisha Boyd, and I am a travel specialist. So I am owner of Boyd's Travel Destinations. I really do enjoy traveling. I also am hosting 3 group trips in 2025. So make sure you check me out. I'm a mom. I have a son that has autism. He's 20 years old now. So I was a single mom raising a special needs son. So I think that was the most challenging part of my life. It really did drain me. It really did, test me in a way that I wasn't allowed to be soft, So on this topic, I don't know what that means. I find myself now being able to, kind of tone it down because I am more older, I'm more mature. But I wasn't allowed to be soft. Everything was about the grind. Everything was about, me just surviving,
Yes.
raising him, getting him to a place where he's graduated, not allowing him to, hide behind his disability, but overcome his struggle. So that was impactful. So I wasn't really allowed to be soft. So I said all that to say I'm a soon-to-be author. This will be a way for me to tell my story of all that I endured as a businesswoman, as a mother, having a special needs child, and just the perspective of where I am today. This book is called Sis, Be Your Entrepreneurial Self. So it's kind of speaking to the entrepreneur in women. We always, are going through things, personal struggles where if we have a business and we want to build it, sometimes we have to take a step back and be a mom first. So this just talks about the balance that I went through, the struggles that I went through, and it's coming soon. So I'm still writing it. I'm on the 7th chapter, so I'm getting close. But yes, I am publishing with Stephanie, and I just absolutely, absolutely love this opportunity.
Go
Meeting Stephanie
girl.
has been
Yes.
amazing, and she's a beautiful friend. So I am grateful to be here to be a part of this panel, and to share my story. Yeah.
Thank
So
you,
thank
thank
you.
you, thank you, thank you. And we have Miss Tracy. This is Miss Tracy's first time on the platform. And I just want to say I love Miss Tracy. We met a couple of months ago, and we've been like magnets talking and just having so many conversations. And I've talked to her about it, but she's got several books within her, y'all. So listen, I need everybody to keep telling Miss Tracy we got to tell the story. Just tell her we got to tell the story.
Miss Stephanie will tell you I'm that one.
She
Don't tell me
knows.
like that.
Yeah, she knows the story.
Every
So listen, we're gonna have to get Miss Tracy to write some books, not one. Miss Tracy gonna have to write several. So Miss Tracy, introduce yourself, and we also have the fact that we're both in the dental field together, and so we have that in common as well. The whole dental field. Go ahead, Miss Tracy.
Okay, so first of all, I want to say thank you, Stephanie, for having me on this platform. It's
You're
very
welcome.
exciting for me. I am blessed by it, and I'm a single mom. Well, mother that was single. My baby's father was definitely in her life. She's 25, and she's going to school to be a veterinarian. She's taking her prereqs. But I can totally relate to this soft girl era because, my mom was raised like an independent woman, because she was raised to be an independent woman. And so it's just kind of been generational, you know. And so being a mother who was single, I didn't have time to stop and think and okay, I got to be soft or whatever. I was just handling my business and putting my daughter through school and working full time and attending all these activities and waking up and starting over and then doing it again. Like I was like a drill sergeant, like let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, So this soft girl era is definitely something that really needs to be discussed within our community. Just because I just don't think we get the opportunities to be soft. And it's like we are doing what we have to do. We just got our head down and we're just being mom and we're being all that we can be, but yet we're not looking at us like, wait, what about me? And so if we were to express ourselves, we may not be received, And so this subject is really profound. And I think it'll set a lot of women free to understand that it's okay to say, you know what, I need help. So I just say, like Stephanie said, I don't have any books written yet, but I always say I'm just a nobody trying to tell everybody about somebody.
Yes.
No.
Oh, Tracy,
but
we're
yeah,
gonna
I
write
love
them
to
books.
mentor,
We're gonna write those
inspire.
books.
I do it every day. You know.
Yeah. You hear me?
I do it every
Another
day.
thing,
So,
You didn't hear me.
that we didn't get to hit on last time about not being able to be in the soft girl era, being married and single, because that's what I was twice.
Yeah.
I was married and single, so I still didn't get to be a soft girl because I'm married and single.
Yeah.
And in the military, you know, you can't be soft in the military because you're in the man's world.
Nope.
That's 90% man's world. And even when you're there with other women, especially higher ranking women, they push on you harder because they expect you to be them.
Wow.
So I never got, the only time I got to be soft girl was outside of work with my friends who were like, girl, you better put a dress on, put a skirt on, put on some heels, put on your makeup, because they were the ones who taught. My mom didn't teach me how to put on makeup. Do my hair. That was them and my cousin that did that. So we never really got to, some of us, be soft girls because our only acceptance was man's world. That was it.
So while you all were talking, I kind of jotted down a couple things, and I want to get feedback from everybody. I'll start with survival mode. Survival mode was said several times, and I totally get that because, you know, in life, I've been a single mom twice. You know, I have 2 children, and, you know, divorce happened in those situations. And there I was, you know, a single mom the first time. And then the second time, a single mom after 20 years to get married, start over, and end up in divorce. And you literally, when I think of survival mode, I'm thinking, you know, I don't have time to think about me. You know, I have to make sure that my son or my sons at individual time, because they were both raised 20 years apart. But, you know, at each time, I had to make sure that I paid all the bills. I had to make sure that I bought groceries. I worked 2 jobs at certain times, you know, even if we were eating pork and beans and wieners and oranges, we were eating. You understand? Like, it was no such thing as like deciding that I wanted to, you know, go shopping and spend $300-400 on myself. Just no, I was in survival mode. I was taking a second job. And I took a second job at a food place because they had a grocery store at the food place. Brahms was what it was. I worked at a different job during the daytime. And at night, I worked at Brahms because they had a grocery store. And I was a mom. I was a single mom at 21, 22 years old, working 2 jobs so that my check would go towards groceries. So I never hardly saw that part-time. I never saw that check. They would just let me get the groceries and take it out of my check that I never saw. So that's survival mode. Yeah. When your first job only pays your bills, and your second check bought the groceries. Yeah. Okay, so and then I had to make the decision about who eats tonight. It was going to be my baby, right?
Yeah.
You know, even if I just ate some saltine crackers and sardines or wieners, okay. Did I want that? No. But what I'm saying is, we as women, and I'm not discounting men, but this is about soft girls.
Right.
We know too much as Black women about survival mode. And I think the sad part about that is I don't think it was ever designed for us to know survival mode. But, you know, we take this all the way back to genealogy, and I say back to slavery. You know, we as a culture have been in survival mode forever. And it just so happens that same survival mode, I think, rests more on the shoulder of women. And I don't know why that is, but I just know that, you know, even in the group that we're in tonight, multiple times did I hear the word survival mode. So I would just kind of like to hear some feedback. That's the first thing. Just if any of you would one by one tell me, when you hear survival mode, what are your thoughts?
Okay, I'll chime in first. So I want to talk about this woman named Dr. Timma Bryant. We're talking about survival mode and how we're seen as Black women, right? So she used an example. If you see a young lady in line, a Black young lady, and her face is balled up, you know, the world says she has an attitude. You know, she has a bad attitude. Look at her. I don't want to approach her. But she was like, you know, if we would think about it a little bit deeper and not saying, oh, she has an attitude, but maybe she's in despair, then maybe we would have more compassion with how we see people and deal with people by changing our mindset. And I think for Black women, a lot of times what you see is the survival mode. We're in the grocery store waiting because we got to get home, you know, to take the kid to soccer practice. And if the traffic light is, or the traffic is 1 minute behind, then everything is off schedule. So that comment from Dr. Timma has stood out to me for a while now. How we view people. And even in our own life, we see other Black women and we're like, look at her. But if you take a step back and think about it, maybe she doesn't have an attitude. Maybe it is despair. So then again, the way we view people, we'll have more compassion. Maybe we'll whisper a prayer instead of whispering to our neighbor about her. Look at her. No, whatever it is, Lord, help, you know, help. We all have been guilty of seeing someone and then making an assumption, right? So when it comes to survival mode and people, we've all been there, right? So using compassion a little bit more, it'll help us be able to see ourselves more. So that's my comment.
Mine for survival mode. I lost my son while I was in the military, and I had to go face those people every single day for 9 months until I got out. 9 months after I buried my child, I had to go to work. And they have this thing where if you have something, if you get married, if you have a child, it didn't come in your seatbelt. So for me, if I wanted to cry while I was at work, I had to go outside and smoke a cigarette because that's the only time I could cry.
Jesus.
And the expectation was I had to shut down my emotions when I got to their job. And I could not show them till I got home. And I still had to shut them down when I got home because my husband at the time didn't want to see it either.
Jesus.
And you have to know how to figure out how to compartmentalize that in your head. And people will look, why are you dressed like that? Why you have that look? And going to what you said, why do you have that look on your face? No, what you don't understand is I hurt every day because I live 5 minutes from where my child is buried. I look like this every day because I'm laying in the bed next to the man. That's the reason why my child is buried. Survival mode is when you are, again, single and married. Your check takes care of the house because his doesn't help do anything. Survival mode is hiding from your children for 14 years. So they don't know that person that's they're calling daddy. It's gone.
Yeah.
But nobody knows it but you. I hid it so well, my family didn't even know.
Oh, I've been there before too.
Heavy load. Heavy
load. But you know what told it?
What's that?
The last 2 years of the marriage, I spent almost every single day in the hospital. My heart started shutting down. My lungs started shutting down. Jesus. My back and my knees gave out.
The things we carry.
They believe I actually had a stroke.
Jesus, Candy.
Because my arm went numb while I was driving myself to the hospital.
But God.
But God. I was sitting there talking to the nurse. And he said, check her blood pressure again. Because I was telling him about the goodness of Jesus. They're like, well, you're talking about Jesus and you might be having a stroke right now. the nurse said, check her blood pressure again, he said, I bet she's good. I want to tell y'all something. I never saw that nurse ever again.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
That was sitting there.
Wow.
I believe you. You know what? I believe you. I believe you.
And when they checked it, I was good to go. I drove myself home just like I drove myself to the hospital.
God is so good.
My God.
But, that's the thing. And we all know this on this call. We go through these survival modes, and when you're in it, you don't feel like there's a way out.
Yep.
But God, and when you're in it, it's tough. It's overwhelming because you're having to make sacrifices on every level. I'm listening to the Candy. Listen, I didn't even know some of these things you just disclosed, and my heart was just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
It just makes me think of how deep we love, how deep we give and we care. But then when things happen to us, we can't even express our feelings and our thoughts.
Yeah.
Like you had no safe place at that time. You had no safe place. You couldn't be safe in your home nor on your job. Raise your hand if you have felt like that at one time, that you did not have a safe place.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah. That's
I'd like to chime in on that.
It was the accountability thing. Now I know y'all know what I'm talking about, where you have these people who come under the comments, you need to be accountable for. No, there's good accountability and there's bad accountability. I can say from hearing most of y'all's stories, we have good accountability. We loved harder than we should have. We were there more than we should have. We gave more than we should have.
Yeah.
And what we got in return is not even equivalent.
Mm-hmm. I know.
So what we gave, and the only thing that's going to be equivalent is when we get that crown in heaven.
Hello. Now, wait a minute now, sister. Wait a minute now, sister. I want some heaven on earth.
I want the stones in my crown. I want my crown to have the bling. Okay.
I'm living a long life, so I'm gonna need some heaven on earth. I'm definitely get my crown in heaven, but I'm gonna need some heaven on earth if I'm gonna be here for 70, 80 more years.
For those people that we did it for, I mean, we can have a separate man that we get for the people that we did it to. That's the only accountability. That's the only thing that we get. But we still didn't stop being that person.
No, we still have to be who we are. Tracy, what were you going to say?
People are not paying the price for that. We have kids.
Yeah, but vengeance is mine, said the Lord.
Better than that.
They think they're getting away. Yeah, they think they're getting away, but you know what? God sees all. Tracy, chime in on it. What were you going to say?
Yes, he does. I was thinking about what Candy was saying when she said that she did not have a safe space. Mm-hmm. And so yesterday I was cleaning out, my cabinets and everything. And I came across all these notebooks that I had been writing, bleeding on paper. And I realized.
Wait. Bleeding? Say that again. Y'all know, listen, say it again.
I realized I was bleeding on paper because I was with a person I could not share how I felt.
Yeah.
Because they didn't want to talk about it. They didn't want to discuss it. They didn't have the capacity to even reach me emotionally. So I cried out on paper.
Wow.
And I was reading, and I didn't even realize I was taking all these notes during this relationship. It was journals, notebooks, and notebooks, and notebooks, and notebooks, and notebooks of my heart. But yet I'm with somebody who I should be sharing this with him.
Yeah.
And so it just, like you said, you didn't have a safe space. I didn't have a safe space. But I could look back and reflect. And I was like, wow, Tracy, you was in a bad space. But you can't see it when you're in it.
Yeah.
And there were so many things that I wrote that were red flags, and I didn't.
Yeah.
But when I was able to reflect and look back, I was like, ooh, girl, you was not in a good space. Like,
that's how I felt when I wrote the 3 books that I wrote.
Going with the, just rolling with the motions. Like, so I totally understand that when you said that you didn't have a safe space to share how you felt and you had to shut it down and be something different for fear of, being, mocked or no empathy or anything. So but that's what I was going to say. It's true. It's like when you don't have a safe space, you bleed on paper. So that's literally what I was doing, was bleeding on paper. So
you were in survival mode.
Like you wrote, when you wrote your stuff down, the only difference is I never went back and read them. When I wrote all 3 of them books, I did not go back and read them. Everybody else can read them.
Why is that?
Because when I wrote them, I did what Tracy did. I bled on paper, but I left it there.
Okay. Was that therapeutic for you in your mind by not reading it again?
And going to therapy, yes. Now in therapy, I can talk about certain things.
Okay.
I can bring it up there, but there are certain details
I got rid of mine
that I won't talk about. I will not. They're there, and that's where they stay. I had like yesterday. One of them was brought up yesterday from a reel on Instagram, and they were talking about how a narcissist brings will sleep around and they'll bring certain things home on purpose. And I had a flashback, and I had to sit down and have a moment.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because it happened, and it didn't happen once; it happened twice. Elena, you remember we talked about this last 2 times. 2.
We've got a viewer, Tashonda Robinson. Hello, Miss Tashonda Robinson. She said that's deep. That's very deep. That's very deep.
And it just having those moments and even being vulnerable in those moments is hard.
Yeah.
Because people look at you sideways as of in, well, what did you do to make him? I did nothing.
Yeah.
I was faithful. I did
oh my God. Let me say something real quick. Why is it? Right. I mean, why is it when something goes wrong in a relationship, a man cheats on a woman, a man gets a side chick, he does all these things, somebody wants to say, well, she didn't do. No, we're going to stop that right now. We are all responsible for our individual actions. Okay? A woman or a man can be doing ... every ... on the list. But if you have no self-control, if you have no accountability, no integrity, and no foundation in Jesus Christ, you will do anything. And it has nothing to do with your partner. We put that down.
That's right. Soft girls. This is why we're not soft girls. Because we had to be
don't have that opportunity.
Because we have brains.
All
right, come on, Lakeisha, because I know you got something to say, girl. Come on.
Okay, so living in survival mode to me it meant becoming emotionally numb. You know, there's so many things that you have to put aside. You literally putting yourself on the back burner and say, I'm living this thing and I'm doing what I have to do to come through it. You know, being single moms, you know, if you're a good mother and you love your kid, you're going to put that kid first. You know, you're going to put yourself on the back burner. So we become, you know, we contribute to even more brokenness within ourselves and just becoming emotionally numb. So all of that has to be healed. So that means it takes us longer to heal. You know, I think it took me 10 years to really heal and move forward properly after my divorce to my son's dad. And, you know, I took that 10 years to say, hey, God, you know, let me heal. Let me, you know, figure out who I am, you know, for the next person that you bring into my life. And sometimes we don't want to take the time to do that. So we're carrying baggage. We're being mean for no reason. We got an attitude. We're constantly contributing to the brokenness. So that means it's going to take you longer to heal. So you get in your prime age and now you're like, well, I'm alone. But now at this time, you know, you're looking at your life and you're saying, what did I do? It's really, what did you not do? What did you not do? You allowed the brokenness to pile up. It has become compounded now. So now you have this compounded emotions and brokenness and issues. And now, you know, it's everybody's fault. And now you're in your prime. And now, you know, you're trying to understand what happened. So I think for us, it's all about, yes, do what we need to do for our children, but that's self-love, that's self-care, and allowing ourselves to be vulnerable enough to heal those emotions in the process, you know, because you're going to look up and you about halfway through your life, and now it's not too late, but you're gonna want that time back, and that's something we just don't have. So time is a valuable asset. And you want to be able to heal the brokenness that comes along with surviving, because it is.
And you know what you said, Lakeisha? I know a lot of people have said, I don't have my husband yet, but I'm saved. Well, have you allowed God to burn those things out of you yet?
Exactly.
Okay. Have you gone through the fire? Because I do all the time. I ask God every day, burn things out of me that I know can keep me from where you want
to be. That's right.
And who you want me to be, and who you want me to be with. I can pray for him every single day. But if I'm not where I need to be, then
you're only going to destroy it. It's going to be destroyed, you know.
No relationship to be had. I'm useless because I'm not where he would need me to be as a healed, whole wife.
Exactly.
Well, listen, I agree with both of you, because I'm in that process right now. You know, I've been on this healing journey of getting myself in a good place, because I do want, you know, a kingdom marriage. And so for me to be able to have a kingdom marriage, I know that I had to work inside myself, on the inside and also on the outside, because like you said, Lakeisha, when the Lord does send me my kingdom mate, I got to be in a good space. I can't, you know, bring my brokenness from the past into that relationship and to get some and think I'm going to get some different results. You know, I think that when we all get to the point that, okay, maybe we had those bad situations, we had to be in survival mode, we had to do these things, you know, we were married, but yet single, all these things that we're talking about. But then there comes a point where we have to take accountability and say, you know what, I'm going to flip the script on this thing. I'm not going to be the victim anymore. I'm going to be the survivor. I'm not going to let this, you know, determine that I won't ever experience real love and I won't be loved. And that's where self-care comes in. I like to always say that that's where it shifts when we begin to love ourselves and care about ourselves, get ourselves healed. Then we attract differently. You know, we're not attracted to the same thing and the same people that we were attracted to before. The same things don't move us. What used to be our type is now disgusting. You know, what used to be our type, and it's like, did I really? Like, what was I thinking? You know what I mean? I mean, they qualify on no level when you get healed. And so I think, you know, and you know, we're talking about the survival mode. We're talking about giving ourselves permission to be soft. I think that's where it is. We need to give ourselves permission to be soft so that we can actually figure out what the softness looks like. We can identify it. I think that another good thing is by us having conversations like this, partnering with other women, because some of us have experienced what soft love looks like, you know, in different areas. You know, if we've had an active father in our life, like some of you had your father in your life, you know, the majority of your time. So you're going to have a different, aspect of looking at relationships than some of us who did not have our dads in our lives at that time. And then there's a couple of us on the platform that are now getting new relationships with our fathers here late in age, but now we're beginning to have those relationships with our dads, which are going to help us to make better decisions now in the choices that we make. So, you know, even all of us on the call, we're in different stages of this thing. But another thing that came up is when we were saying we weren't being allowed. I'm not sure if it was Candy or Keisha. One of y'all said you weren't being allowed to be soft. What comes to mind? Can somebody shed some light on that? Not being allowed to be soft.
Yeah, I said that. I felt like, sometimes with the sacrifices that we have to make in life, you're just not allowed to be, to put yourself first. So it's kind of like, well, okay, I know I need to do this for my child, and it's always for someone else, but it's not for ourselves. It's not, understanding that you have to put yourself first before you can give out that love and that compassion and that, healing, and just to give out the good things. You have to have it to give. So when I say being allowed to, it's just like, well, when you're surviving, you don't understand how to give all those things, those gifts of the spirit that God has given us, because
Yeah.
it's buried. It's buried under
Mhm.
under trying to survive and get through, and sacrifice all the problems and the issues. It becomes buried. So you just can't give what you don't have to give.
I
Yeah.
love that you said that, because God has been having me study Paul. So I've gone to Romans, Hebrews, 1st and 2nd Thessalonians, Colossians, 1st Timothy, and oddly enough, I jumped from 1st Timothy to 1st Corinthians. Don't know how that works yet.
Mm-hmm.
But I was doing 1st Corinthians 2 and 3 the other day. And Paul was talking about the gifts God has given us.
Mm-hmm.
But not just the gift, but how to use the gift.
Right.
And knowing the platform to use the gift
in the right way. Yeah.
And I think we've gotten to the point of we recognize the gifts God has given us, but we've used them for the wrong people.
Yeah. We need to start a checklist.
We need to start a checklist on, does this person deserve my gift?
Do they qualify?
Because the enemy's trick is, if I can get you to use the gift, starting you at a young age. My dad and I had this conversation. The enemy starts you at a young age when he recognizes you have certain gifts.
Yeah.
And from a very young age, if you look at your childhood and what you've been through, up till now, the enemy has tried to destroy each and every gift you had because it threatens his kingdom.
Yeah.
But if you recognize your gift, recognize the fact of the people you've given it to wrong, you'll see the right people who've come along for your gift. You'll see them as soon as they get there. And you'll see the people who want your gift.
Let me ask you all a question.
Gifts make you soft. They
make us vulnerable, and that's where people that are takers, they come in and they take when it's not bad for us to be givers. The problem is we have the wrong people so close to us that the wrong people are taking instead of it being transactional and them giving back into our lives. Let me ask you guys a question. Do you think there's a different set of rules for Black love than other loves?
Absolutely.
I think we as Black women, we endure just way too much. God didn't say endure all that. And I always make sure I check myself, on God's word. He tell us what love is. We have that 1 Corinthians 13. Love is patient, love is kind. Yes. But love didn't say be a fool. Okay. Love didn't say, I'm just being honest. Love didn't, you just don't take the scripture out of context. It did not say be a fool. It did not say be disrespected. It did not say disrespect yourself for being with somebody who doesn't respect you. Love is respect. And if you don't respect that person, you shouldn't be with that person. That's just the blatant truth. So I feel like we need to check ourselves as what we're going to accept, what we're going to endure when we come talking about we love somebody, because there are boundaries.
Absolutely. If I can chime in, please. When we come to relational love, as opposed, so how can I put this? We would take so much more off of a man because we love them and we've had intimacy with them and the soul tie with them. But from a homegirl who's been there and supported us all our life, one indiscretion, we cut them off. I've seen it happen time and time and time again. We give as women, wherever our heart is, what they say, where your heart is, there where your treasures are. We love so hard. We'll give men chance after chance after chance after chance, but anybody else we cut off. We'll cut them off immediately. And we do ourselves a disservice when we put so much weight on a man.
Yeah.
You know, and so I've experienced that before in my younger years of being a friend. I'm not talking to her no more, but the guy hurt my feelings. Well, you ain't called me all day. Like, really? Like who hasn't been a fool for what was it? Why do fools fall in love? Who hasn't been a fool for a man? So sometimes us as women, we desire connection so badly, and we want it to work so badly, and we don't want to be alone so badly, and we want our families to work so badly, and we don't want to fail like what we've seen the Joneses do so badly, so we stay and we stick around way past the expiration date, and all it's doing is causing more harm than good in our lives. And as Candy said, it start manifesting in your physical body. You know, the turmoil we carry, what Erica Badu, bag lady, you gonna hurt your back carrying all those bags like that? Literally, it manifests out of you. And I see Tracy nodding. What's your take on this, Miss Tracy? Can she?
Well, it's just, we do take a lot. We take a lot. And, you know, the worst part about it is it's in the body of Christ. And you have these people that will twist scripture. And so then you feel some type of way like, well, you know, I probably should do this. No, but you want somebody to do something that ain't even in that role.
That part.
So that's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
You know, so I just think that we got to use. What happened?
I think it's a bad connection, but
can you guys hear me?
Okay, we can now. Yeah.
So I just feel like, can you guys hear me? Can you hear me? You hear me? Yeah. So I just feel like it's just we need to use our head. We need to pay attention. We need to, when we see the red flags, we need to stop and evaluate. And I think we just blow past the red flags because we see potential.
Oh yeah.
But the red flags are there for a reason. And I was talking to one of my homegirls today, and I was like, you know, we knew better. We knew better. And there were some things that we did that we knew we shouldn't have did.
Oh yeah.
But we just, you know, gave them the benefit of the doubt, you know.
Right.
So that's where that accountability comes in, where, you know what, we can't always blame the other person. You knew better.
Yeah.
You know, and so we do take a lot, but because we love hard, and but sometimes, you know, you got to just really back up and say, this is not what love should look like.
Ooh,
and
I like
just
it.
like Lakeisha said, 1 Corinthians 13 is the love chapter. You know, love is kind, love is patient. I was told one time by a woman of God back in the day, put that man's name in place of love. If he's not those things, you need to reevaluate that.
Amen.
I like that.
Now, can I piggyback off Miss Tracy?
It was
yes, ma'am.
Almost everybody, what everybody says. Try the spirit by the spirit. We are at the big old age now where a lot of us have grown in Christ.
That's right.
The Holy Spirit say that ain't it, babe. That ain't it. Walk away. I've had them in my inbox.
Right.
It takes 2 or 3 sentences. Bye. Block.
Listen.
Block.
Okay.
No, baby. Because the first 2 sentences, hey, how you doing? How old are you? Everything's on my page, so I don't even know why you here. Asking one question I got for you. Explain your relationship with Christ.
Wait, let me tell y'all my top questions. My top question: do you have a relationship with Jesus Christ?
Do you have a relationship with Jesus? If you cannot explain to me your relationship with Christ, what he did for you on the cross, the fact that he died for you, was buried and rose again. If you can't explain Hebrews 10 to me, that he's sitting on the right hand of God, if you can't explain to me the 3 and 1 and the 1 and 3, then why are you talking to me? Because I'm not teaching you about Jesus. I need you enough in Jesus.
Yeah.
Teach me some more.
You gotta be
Jesus, but I don't.
You gotta be careful though. Because the enemy knows that too. The enemy knows the word too.
Yeah. See, this is the thing. You know, spiritual manipulation is what we're talking about now.
No, where he coming from?
We're talking about spiritual manipulation now, where you meet a man who says he knows the Lord, and he takes a little bit of the scripture and a little bit of his own theology, doctrine that he's created. And so what we have to do is when we ask, you know, the question of do you have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, that don't mean you have a relationship with Jesus Christ at your house in the back room where no man sees. What we need to be more thorough about is that relationship should show in every aspect of your life. If you say you have children, do you have a relationship with those children? Because Jesus is going to help you to have a relationship with your children. Do you have a relationship with your parents? Because Jesus is going to help you have a relationship with your parents. You know, those are things that we have to look at. If you know, do you fellowship with other believers, or is it just you and Jesus that nobody knows about over here? Because that's how you can get off track. The Bible says, forsake the assembling of yourselves together. So I want to make sure that you know Jesus, but you know the same Jesus that, you know, people at church know. Yeah.
If I could chime in, outside of spiritual, also important conversations, finding out what they raised off of love or survival.
Yes.
That matters too, because when you're trying to show them love, you don't understand why he can't receive it. What was his upbringing? You know, so those important, those conversations are important too, to understand their, you know, upbringing. So I just want to slide that in there. The things of God are important. I'm not negating that, because if that's your
Jesus part yet to get to their upbringing yet. So y'all might have to slide me some questions to ask about that part, about the upbringing part, because they can't get past the Jesus part for me to ask them.
Go ahead and finish what you were saying. Alana, go ahead and finish what you were saying.
Oh no, I mean I was pretty much through with my thought. Just make sure that those important conversations. What do you like? Do you like to travel? I'm a homebody. That can cause issues in a relationship if you guys aren't on one accord. You know, like simple things like that can make or break a relationship. You always want to go, they want to be home, so now you're unhappy. So just those other points of some of the things we put ourselves through. We can't be soft because we're unhappy, because we're unequally yoked. You know, so now you're frustrated and you're stressed, and then you know it's self-inflicted, because we just had to have this man, but we knew early on we were not compatible.
How many of us have done that? We saw the red flags at the beginning and still went with it. Raise your hand. Yeah. Okay, so I want to. These are a couple of questions. We'll just raise our hand and then we can go into something else. We talked about survival mode. Is anyone right now in survival mode? No? Okay, good. I was just curious about that. So, are we all doing something actively right now for self-care, for self-love? Okay, very good. So what do we say? And I'd like for everybody to answer this because we're getting ready to close out. What right now is your expectation of what soft love looks like? We kind of talked about this a little bit last time in closing, and I want to kind of know what that looks like. So I'll share for myself. For me, it would be a man of God that loves the Lord, as much or more than me, like I said before, because everything that I do is about the Lord. I've surrendered my life to Christ. So every day I'm like, Lord, what should I do today? That's what I do. And so for me, ideally, my partner would have to be on that same page. Not to say that we don't have fun, we don't do other things, but the focus and the foundation, that's my foundation. And then of course the next thing would be my children. That person would definitely have to love children and genuinely understand, my rules and regulations about my child. And when I say my child, meaning my younger child. And then everything else, it's just about understanding, each other's likes and dislikes and things like that. But the top two for me are Jesus and my child. You know what I mean? Those are the non-negotiables. So self-care for me would be also somebody that shows up and that adds to my life, not take away. So I have a good life. I have a good lifestyle. So if the Lord sends somebody into my direction, it needs to be somebody that's going to add to whatever I've got going on. They're going to show up and see themselves partnering with me, not trying to distract me and get me off track. And so that to me, that would feel like soft love to me. Not having to feel like I got to be superwoman. Mm-hmm. I said to someone, I think yesterday or the day before, I was talking about something that was going on, and this person said, "Oh, you got it. You can handle it." And I said, "You know what? Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I can handle it." But what I was really looking for was some pity at that moment, some affection, you know what I'm saying? To just kind of pat me on my head and say, "You got this," not "You're strong, you got it, you can hold it down." In moments of vulnerability, when we say we need help, when we say something is a situation, something is tough, if a Black woman can admit she needs help, it is not the time to say, "You strong, you got it." Yeah. It is that we need you to affirm us and say, "Yeah, you can do it. You can do it," but in a soft way, because in that moment, I want to be soft, pink, and fluffy. Like I always say, I want to be soft, pink, and fluffy. Masculinity right now to assure me that I'm good. I know I'm good, but I want to hear you tell me I'm good. So I got it. I'm good. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So let's take the time before we close out. If each one of you can just kind of give me your idea of what soft love looks like for you, what it would look like for you right now at this stage in your life.
I'll go and get it out the way first, so everybody have their chance. And I'll keep it brief. I said it last time, and I'll say it again. When it say I'm a movement by myself, but I'm a force when we're together, that always stands. That will always stand for me. I'm moving, growing, and becoming as Elena Maria in all of my different endeavors. And that's not all that I am, but that's a big part of who I am. And whoever comes into my life, you meet me and we are complementing each other. You're compassionate and kind, mean, bitter, angry. We could never work, compassion, kindness. That matters the most in a communicator. And for me, that type of partner would definitely help foster soft love and soft black soft girl love for me. And that's my spiel.
I can say for me, what soft love looks like is, for one, faithfulness. I feel like there is a lot of blessings I did not understand because I was faithful to the Lord, And I can say through all my issues and the things that I've come through, God blessed me because of having a faithful heart, Mm-hmm. So I think that is the number one thing on my list. I'm attracted to people who are just faithful to God, and really understand what's expected of them and what God expects, and they can keep their word to the Lord. Those are the characteristics that shine bright for me. Of course, loving the Lord Jesus Christ. And yes, as Stephanie said, your children. Yes, you automatically have to have that at the top of your list. But I feel like a man that can have a faithful heart for the Lord, keep his word to the Lord, and a good relationship with his mother can be a good man for me. So those are the top things for me. Having that faithful heart, having a good relationship with the Lord and with their mother.
Okay. Okay.
I think for me, a
I'll go
man who will
next.
be able to. Go ahead, Miss Tracy. I'll go.
You want me to go or you want to go? Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. So for me, it's kind of like, he clearly needs to be a man of God. I mean, that's a no-brainer. But it's so much deeper than that.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, I'm
surface.
just being real.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, he really has to be more concerned about disappointing God than me.
Yes. Yes.
Like, if he realizes that anything he does, if it isn't right in God's sight, he ain't gonna do it to me. Right? Yeah. And so I want him to have the reverence to God for real.
Yeah.
And I want him to be the type where if he can't figure something out, he can go to God about it. About me.
Yeah.
And with him having that vertical relationship, it's going to reflect in his horizontal relationships. Right?
That's right. That's
and you'll know them by, the Bible specifically says you'll know them by their fruit.
That's true.
And so just, being intentional, I have a very wonderful example of a man in my father. So all I know is provision, provider, protector, all these things. And so that's all I know. And so those are some big shoes to fill. I realize that. Mm-hmm. I'm not expecting you to be my father because I got a daddy. Yeah. But there are just some principles that are in place that I personally think are bare minimum principles.
Yeah.
And if he can get past the bare minimum principles, now we can have a conversation, because there's women out here that are applauding bare minimum. I'm sorry, but I'm going to applaud a fish from swim. I'm just not going to do it. Yeah. So, but like I said, just being a man of integrity, loyalty, a man who can listen to understand and not necessarily listen to respond. Like, that is major. I'm not even going to go into him keeping a job and all that. That's bare minimum. That's
He's have a good character, right?
Tracy.
And, you shouldn't have to. I mean, I'm working. You should be working. I mean, just saying, So I'm not even going to touch that, because we as Black women are always called gold diggers, which I'm like, no, we just work. We're adults. We have children. We have to work. That has nothing to do with us being gold diggers. We're holding it down by ourselves. We want somebody to come along who says, give me that. I'll take that. Right?
Yeah. So the load off. Take the load off.
Yeah.
I don't require a lot, but it seems like today bare minimum is too much to ask for. So until then, I'll wait.
I like that. Yeah. I had to do that hard laugh because some men want to talk about women being gold diggers, and they got 20 W-2s. Come on now, in 1 year. Come on now. I mean, listen.
We are gold diggers. GOAL. Gold. GOAL diggers.
Yeah. Not what it is.
Yeah.
GOAL. I like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Miss Candy Usher, what are your thoughts?
Mine have changed from last time.
Okay.
A man like David, after God's heart.
Okay.
But faithful to God like Abraham. He'll be my best friend like Jonathan.
Okay.
But he'll love me like Boaz did.
What? Okay.
He'll go hard for me,
Yeah.
like the king did Esther.
Yes, we love
But
you
he'll
with
love
intention.
me like Joseph did Mary.
Yeah.
That's the man that'll make me soft.
Okay.
A man who will want my kids as his.
Yeah. Yeah.
He'll sit there and he'll go through my life, because my life in 3 books is out there, so anybody can see it.
Yeah.
But he understands that my past doesn't define me, it just shaped me.
Yes.
That I'm a person, that I'm me. I'm goofy, I'm dinky, I'm the whole 9. But I'm bold, and I'm kind, and I'm caring. I cry at stupid stuff. Because if you're crying, I'm going to cry. If you're laughing, I'm going to laugh. I'm going to feel everything that you feel.
Yeah.
Allow me to be me. Be what no other man but my dad has allowed me to be and encouraged me to be.
Yeah.
No, you don't have to be my dad, but you're going to have to pass the gauntlet. God, my daddy, and my oldest. The other 2, they're kind of easy to win over, but that oldest one, he don't play about his mother at all. My dad does not play about me.
That's
and
good.
God showed don't play about me.
Yeah. That's good. I think
Could end on that note.
Huh?
I said we can end on that note.
I think that we all are, on the same page when it all comes back to we all want to be able to experience soft love without having to ask permission. It's not something that we should have to ask permission to experience soft love. It should be granted. It's something that should be granted. It's ours to have.
Yeah.
Not something we should endure and have to, wait for. It's something that should be expected. And even though we do have oftentimes a different set of rules, we have the ability ourselves to enforce those rules when we develop self-care for ourselves and we set standards for ourselves. Right. We have the ability to set rules and standards for what we're going to accept and what we're not going to accept. And then on that survival mode, we as women have to get to a point that we do things that help ourselves get out of the situation we're in, so that we don't have to be in survival mode. And then also we're not sitting around waiting for a man to come save us. If the Lord sends a man into our life, it's to accentuate, to add to, not to rescue. And I think if more women got that mindset that, I'm not waiting to be rescued, I'm not drowning. I just wanna, somebody that can partner with me, partner and companionship. It's what it's about. Not saving. We only need the Savior to save us. And so I think if we think about those things, that we can definitely experience our soft girl and self-care love that we so much deserve, deserve. I just want to say I thank you ladies so much for tuning in again. This has been amazing once again, having you all here on the platform. I have so many good conversations with all of you at different times, but it's always nice to me when I can have everybody's face here and be able to cut up with you guys all at one time. So thank you for everyone being here on the platform tonight. All of you are on Facebook. Everyone here tonight is on Facebook. You can follow them on Facebook. Message them if you have any interest in any of the things that they've got going on, or you can message me directly. I'll pass a word to any of them. We will have our next open discussion in 2 weeks. We always have open discussions in 2 weeks. That next open discussion to be announced. But thank you so much. And let me let you know the new schedule for the Stephanie M. Seaton Sunday show is Tuesday and Thursday. So Tuesday nights and Thursday nights will be the time. I have came to the conclusion I can't keep working 2 jobs 7 days a week.
That's right. Yep.
So really more than 2 jobs, but yeah, so I have gotten that realization that I will be a much better person all around, much better by scheduling things and organizing things a little better. So Tuesday nights, Thursday nights, make sure that you stay tuned. And every other Sunday, we will have an open discussion. If you would like to be a guest on the Stephanie M. Seaton Sunday show, feel free to message me directly or to comment on any of the posts on my page. Ladies, thank you. You guys hold tight for just a minute. We're going to get out of here. Thank you so much for tuning in to this discussion tonight. Like, tag, and share, especially if you know that this will be a blessing to someone in your circle that may be going through some things. Please make sure to share this video with them. Thank you.
If you would like to be a guest on the Stephanie M. Seaton Sunday show, email Stephanie at stephaniemseatontheauthor@gmail.com.